Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Daybreak Extra. And on today, we will open a line for discussion. We will be discussing the BBC documentary on politicians paying social media influencers to spread false news about opponents and manipulate votes. Now, the advent of digital technology, which has supposed to guarantee popularization and transparency, is also synonymous with news that is as viral and monetized as it is unapproved or even fake. The BBC showed that Nigerian political parties pay under the table influencers to orient their opinions or even to other disinformation content on their opponents. Now, 80 million Nigerians are connected to social media where informal opinion leaders are active, some of them with hundreds or even thousands of followers, especially on Facebook and Twitter. Now, and the most viral of their publications continued their little way, especially on WhatsApp. Now, joining us on the segment to discuss this topic is Otu Don Daniels, a media content executive. Welcome to Daybreak Extra.
My pleasure, as always. Thank you. Good morning. Thank you so much.
All right, so I'm sure you actually watched the documentary.
Yes, I did.
Can you share your thoughts with us on that?
Well, if you ask me, it's not strange. I mean, it is what is even obtainable outside, the shores of this country. But for me, I don't want to approach this and make it lopsided, because you would always have politicians who would pay, influencers, maybe celebrities, to fake their popularity or maybe to demarket their opponent and all of that. But I would like to approach it from the angle of the influencers, maybe the bloggers and all of that. For me, if you do that as an influencer, as a blogger, maybe a social media, whatsoever you call yourself, I think all of you should be gathered and given a national award for perfidy or for treachery. Because what that means is that you are untrustworthy. You have betrayed your loved ones, you've betrayed your country, because you're supposed to be patriotic. And if you are part of the influencers who would install or enthrone a government that would subject people to penury, and of course, like the insecurity issues you have, in Nigeria at the moment, by popularizing somebody who is a misfit for such office like that of the president, you are supposed to be branded a murderer. It's as serious as that. Because you're supposed to be patriotic in all sense. Your platform is supposed to be used to promote peace, peaceful coexistence in a country or amidst people. But if you sit down, and you see, it's even a character issue. Let's begin from that. And these are people, I think, and now I want to approach it from a very cognitive perspective. Because you see, I don't know what the National Orientation Agencies are doing, or the agency in Nigeria is doing. Because at a time like this, people should be told how to position themselves functionally to help install the kind of government that people want. You should know the pulse of the people so much that you tell yourself, even if I won't spend my money to promote a candidate that I think has the developmental ideas that we need for a nation like this, I should use my platform with my cult-like followership to promote such. You would say, maybe, am I supposed to be partisan? The truth is, just like some of us are members of the fourth estate of the realm, you are supposed to maintain some level of neutrality or high level of neutrality. But then you would have pitched your tent somewhere. But then you use your platform to espouse, the ideas you think somebody who should be going for the office of the president should be able to furnish us with, so that alone would make people queue behind you and say, okay, if this is true, and of course a character thing.
Well, what influencers actually do is quite different. They are not journalists, are they?
They are not journalists, but the role they play is not even different from the role you are playing at the moment. Because, I mean, your job does not even allow you to sit here and say, I am of this party, I'm of that party, or I am of just call any name and all of that. So what's the difference between what you're doing and what an influencer, say a social media influencer is doing? What's the difference? Because as you're seated now, some of the discourse you would be handling here, some of the topics you'll be handling of societal interest and all of that would be the reason why people will follow you on social media. So what's the difference between you and the person who is behind his computer? You know, coming up with topics that will interest people, that will bring healing and inspiration to people. So it is expected that you do more. You know, so for me, it's just a character thing. And for me, I think the National Orientation Agency should be able to do, probably to double up at a time like this, when we're approaching, you know, like February, when this is a transitioning into another government, and we want to see something better. We want to see a government that will do far better. I don't even want to go into the issue of what we've been through the past 7 years plus, because that will be, I may be tempted to say certain things that you may not even buy on this program. But for me, anybody who's using his or platform, influencers, you are a traitor. You're supposed to be giving a national award for that. Yes, that's
National award for being a traitor.
Yes. I mean, why would you do that? Do you know that if you do that, people could die in that process? Because you see the problem, even look at it very well. If you are supporting, say, Party A because of his religion, or Party B because of his tribe, you are always at loggerheads with somebody who is not supporting your person. And that's why you see the stealing of, you know, ballot boxes, and you see people hired to carry guns and all kinds of weapons to come to. Well, thank God for the new electoral law, because some of that would be, I mean, has been curbed. Well, I'm saying that in principle, but I know that by the grace of God, such things will not even take place. But you see, that's threat to life, because what you are doing would bring two heads together. Do you understand? And that's also even violence. You are stirring up violence. Because if I'm following you, well, and it's not like someone like me, because if you put up something on your blog, or if you're an influencer, whatever position you take about anything, I would subject it to dispassionate scrutiny.
Okay, but you talking about, you know, influencers who, you know, promote misfits to be branded traitors and murderers. I actually want to know, how influential are those influencers? Because, you know, we're people and we have our own free will. We can think whatever we like. We don't necessarily need other people to, you know, tell us what to do or how to think. So how influential are those influencers?
Well, you've heard the music, adulthood na scam. You know that it's in the mouth of a lot of people. It's an example. You know that a lot of young people love music, and by extension love the people who make good music. But the problem, especially with the Gen X, is that anything you put out there becomes a mantra for them. Adulthood. Somebody was trying to defend that, and it was even on live radio. And I was saying, what does that even mean? So you see, people just take things on the surface. Let me tell you, if you come out now as an OAP or a presenter, and you just say something, you just type something on your social media page, no matter how stupid that sounds, there are people who would take that so seriously, and that would also change their mindset about certain things. And it could also be a pathway to destruction. So when you say, yes, we know that sometimes the position of even some of these influencers doesn't even translate to anything substantial. But then, I mean, I'll give you a typical example. One person I know that has a cult-like followership of young people in this nation is Fela Durotoye. He came out to run for the presidency, but his followership on social media did not translate to, you know, what he got, you know, for the primaries and all of that. Yes, we have things like that. But you see, somebody will say, anything where you see for social media, let me use, the pigeon. People just, they catch cruise, though. But to a very large extent, there are people who will tilt towards that. Okay. And there are some people like me, you put anything on, I subject them to dispassionate scrutiny because I have developed myself to be independent-minded. But how many people think the way I think?
And still, some of the youths or masses are still blaming other influencers or influential people that are still not having a stand in politics, like in who to vote. So they keep blaming them like they are the one being, they are the people playing treason role, not actually showing them, because people now are waiting for guidance. Would you say that? Would you agree with that?
People are also waiting, yes.
Just before you answer that,
yes.
Would actually open up the phone lines in a bit so you can actually call in with your questions and your take on this particular issue. So go ahead.
Maybe you are indirectly referring to certain endorsement from certain quarters for one of, the frontline presidential aspirant. Let me tell you something. Let's differentiate a little bit. People like, you call the elder statesmen and social media influencers. If people like Obasanjo, and I'm going to call the name, of course, he's not an aspirant, so it doesn't look like and all of that, but then he has taken a position. It's the same thing I said from the beginning. If you think you have followership of people who really believe so much in your sense of judgment, use it right. An elder statesman comes and says, based on this, my experience, my this, and all of that, I have taken this pathway so I can tell you that based on what I have done, maybe dispassionate scrutiny on all the people who are vying for this position, I can tell you from the position of an elder that this person is a lesser evil. And I use that word intentionally. Do you know why? Because even if they are all evil, they say no one is perfect. But you could choose somebody who you think is a lesser evil. No matter how badly it becomes, this person will still do it rightly. This person will still be people-centric. This person will remain, connected to the grassroots. These people would be in touch with the plight of the people. And you say, how? Because he did it before. We know his antecedents. Do you understand what I'm saying? But maybe as an influencer, who is a social media influencer and all of that, or a celebrity, you know that the reason why people follow you is because of your good music. Do you understand? So yes, you should take a stand then, but you should be very objective. Considering, because the cost of bread in the market, do you understand, is same with somebody who is in party A, B, or C, or somebody who is in tribe this. Yes, no problem.
We have a caller, please. Hello. Hello.
Hello. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning. Where are you? What's your name, please, and where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Yola. I'm calling from Yola.
Okay. Welcome to Daybreak Extra. Please, can you give us your take on the topic today?
What the guest was saying is actually a true story. At least as a brother was influencer and present media.
Okay.
As your guest, I'm calling for Yola. What the guest is saying is actually a true story. As a blogger or an influencer on social media, whatever you say, that's how your followers will stick to you. And then, if you at least as a blogger or an influencer, somebody needs to tie it down so that his followers will adapt to what he's supposed to be, not as what he wants.
Okay.
So that is my contribution for today.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you for calling in.
Please remember, you can actually call in with your contribution, and if you have questions for our guests, you can actually do that. Please make sure that when you're calling in, the line, the number to call is actually displayed on the screen right now. When you're calling in, please turn off or move away from your TV set. All right, so sorry for the break in transmission.
We have another caller. It's hotline, and I think people want to contribute really bad.
Why not, please? Just allow them. It should be interactive. That makes it interesting.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? Hello, can you hear us? Hello? No, I think we just lost a caller. Okay. So the first caller agreed with you, saying that influencers are really impactful. Like they can actually decide or tone on people's decision towards agreeing to vote for a particular person.
Critical. They're very critical.
But how would you say is the mindset of people? How do we even reach out to these people and tell them you need to have a mind of your own? Because let's forget the influencers. Some of them do it for the money, while some do it passionately because they're patriotic. But then how do you, relate to the masses and say, you need to have a stand. You need to understand the value. You need to look at the integrity of the person that you want to vote or you intend to vote for.
Cognitive behavior therapy is one approach that the National Orientation Agency should actually employ. What are they doing? What's the role of National Orientation Agency? I mean, check it for yourself. They are supposed to come up with programs that would, forestall the destructive mindset of citizens.
Okay, we have another caller. Let's just stay here. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Can you hear us? Okay, I think we lost that caller. So sorry for interrupting.
No problem. So that's what you're supposed to do. Some of us can actually develop something, and present to them to say, look, if we must get it right as we're transitioning into another political dispensation, this program should be sacrosanct for citizens. Very key. So the agency is not just there for decoration or to employ family members and friends and all of that. It's actually to help people think right.
We have another caller. Good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Extra. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is from everything from Benin State.
Okay.
I just joined the program on me anyway. Like this social media influencer.
Yes.
Majority of us are not being paid, but we take passion and together as they get in their mistake. The one thing I want to ask again to one of these information that passenger industrial, I think you look at my industrial. That's very, very essential. Like 2015, when General Why was coming in, I took it up to campaign for him. My daddy called me into the situation and said that what the section I'm supporting, the government I'm supporting, that government is going to be tough, but I never take it so serious. I think it's going to be hard, though, maybe so whatever it is now. When he said that, I felt it was just talking out of maybe out of jealous or envy, but when he died now, all this is say come to happen. Like what the pastor say, endorse somebody. If you endorse somebody, it's very like what they are like an ancestor who speak for the younger ones too now. It's just the next generation that they are crying for, not for themselves again. Then as there are aspects again who say that the water any man. So see that and see. If a child climbs a mountain or a tree, the tallest tree cannot even see it. So what was the next is the youth and the younger generation coming up to think wise, to do the right so that they will not cry for the past 8 years to come. Thanks for the opportunity, and may God bless you and the grace may help.
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. So he actually endorsed the older generation or someone, just like you mentioned, a respectable person in a society, you know, coming out to endorse someone.
Yes.
So tell us more on that.
The truth is, if you read the letter from His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo, he was very direct to the young people. And he said, take your country back. He didn't write in random generality. He was meaningful, specific as to, these are the people I'm talking to. You have the power in terms of population, you have it in terms of drive, you have it. Recognize your power and use it this time around to make sure that the new Nigeria you've been dreaming of becomes a reality. And it begins from the 25th of February 2023. He was specific. He wasn't talking to 200 million Nigerians. He was talking to the young people. And of course, you know, the percentage of the population that, you know, the young people, you know, constitute. So the truth about the matter is the role of influencers or personalities like Obasanjo and the rest of them, including the clergymen. Because to a very large extent, people have some level of trust. It's just like the trust factor on media. I mean, the politicians know how to use the media to drive home their objectives, whether it is for your good or it's for your bad. They know that once you come on media, people would believe it.
Hold on to that thought. We have another caller, please. Good morning. Yeah, good morning. Please, what's your name and where are you calling from? Hello, please, can you move away from your TV set? Okay, we lost that caller. Okay, continue, please.
You know, so, I mean, for his, like I said, there are personalities that you don't even need to argue that these people have a court-like followership of, you know, a certain class of persons because of what they represent to these people. Yes, of course, even as a pastor, if you are talking to your members, of course you would know that not everybody would, you know, toe that line of thought or would believe or would go that path, but a good number of them would. So, I mean, if you ask me, I will tell you, even as a pastor, take a stand. Leave these partisanship vagaries. I hear some celebrities say, vote your conscience. Is there anybody on the ballot box who is by name Conscience? No. It's time for us to be very direct.
Okay, so what can social media platforms actually do to, you know, help, you know, stop the spread of disinformation or even misinformation or fake news? Because, you know, a few weeks ago? Yes, I think a while back. Remember when Twitter was looking for headquarters in Africa and they went to Ghana?
And they went to Ghana, yes.
Yes, so when Elon Musk actually took over, you know, he sacked a lot of people there, and I don't know if it's still functioning, if it's still operational.
It's no more.
Closed. It's no more.
It's the same thing.
Right now, so.
I'm trying not to call it an African thing, you know, but he thought Ghana would be a better place where people are not, I'm trying to use the right word, people think right more than even Nigeria. People are saner, people are more objective. I'm sure there were certain factors that were put into consideration in terms of even behavior, less violent, less hostile, easygoing, teachable, and all of that. So he took it to Ghana. But you see, the virus is even spreading because we're called giants of Africa. So it's the same influence and all of that. Probably Ghana has also caught the virus and all of that. And Elon Musk said, no, I can't continue like this. So it's a behavioral issue. Like I told you, You can't even go to an influencer or a social media influencer and tell the person what to do with his or her business. I come to you and someone is saying, you have been running this since January 2022 till, say, November. You have not made up to 1 million naira. Somebody comes and tells you, I will give you 30 million naira. It will take you strength of character to say no. For what I stand for what my business stands for.
We have a caller. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, hello, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Extra. What's your name and where are you calling from, please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Yola.
From where? Yola. Okay, Yola.
What's your name?
Okay, what's your name, please?
Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you. What's your name, please?
I'm not hearing you very well.
What's your name?
That could be a network issue.
Yes. So you were talking about...
Yes, but now it appears to them that the virus is fast spreading, from Nigeria to other African countries, and who are like more or less our younger brothers. But you see, the truth is, it's not even about geographical location. It's about character. That's why I pointed that what is National Orientation Agency doing? You should come up with programs, to help forestall, accumulated, hatred or negativity as far as this country is concerned. People are not thinking right. And coupled with the level of hunger that has been intensified, a good person could turn bad overnight. You go to tell someone who has been running social media or a digital marketer since January and you've not made 500,000 by November, someone is telling you, I'm going to give you 50 million
but what
naira.
if these influencers actually, have a candidate that they believe in and they're being paid either way to promote that particular candidate?
And so what goes around comes around. Are you buying bread differently on the street? If Boko Haram comes with Boko Haram, say, hey, that influencer they're supporting, they just shoot sporadically. Would they say that? So understand this, how it works.
Let's take a call, please. Hello, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Extra. What's your name and where are you calling from, please? Hello? Okay, we seem to be missing the callers today.
So what you should do is to listen to the pulse of the people. What is on the street? You could just do a poll, do what you call, vox populi and all of that. Go as far as that to know people's mind. That's how you get to measure the pulse of the people and get to know what's going on. Why are we buying fuel at 300 naira? Why are we buying a bag of gari for XYZ amount of money? That's against 2015.
Okay, I think we have a caller. Let's see if we can take that caller.
Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Welcome to Daybreak Extra.
Hello?
Yes, can you hear us? Hello?
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you.
Thank you. How are you people?
We're fine, thank you. Good morning. What's your name and where are you calling
good
from,
morning.
please?
Yeah, I'm calling from Suleja.
Okay, what's your name?
Thank you. My name is Hassan Dauda.
Okay, Hassan Dauda, welcome to Daybreak Extra. What's your opinion, please?
Thank you. I appreciate all what you people are doing there in the studio, and I appreciate the guest there.
Thank you.
But I want to call him back based on the Obasanjo's issue.
Okay.
If the Obasanjo is directing youth to organize themselves to fight for their right, isn't it? That is what he's saying. But Obasanjo have forgotten when people brought him out of prison. He came for second time. I took a second for him, give him right as his organ. Now he's going for third time. When he failed, now Atiku is coming on board. It is paining him that he's now saying that they should vote for this and that and this. No, Obasanjo has failed himself woefully as a leader of this country.
All right, so
he shouldn't look for the way to cover Obasanjo.
Okay, so this is not supposed to be...
as a national leader to make that comment.
Thank you so much.
I think you're missing the point, but thank you.
We're actually talking about influencers now, not Obasanjo or any presidential candidates. We're actually talking about influencers and how they manipulate, people, or to swing their votes. All right, so I think we would be wrapping up. But before we, do that, do you have any advice for the young people out there who, are planning to go to the polls to, vote come February?
And to add to that, and also to the system on how they can at least manage the level of influence the influencers have on the youths.
Young Nigerians, remember that when you were 5 or when you were 10, they say you are the leaders of tomorrow. And maybe you are 30 or 35 now. The tomorrow didn't come all these years. Maybe 2023 is the tomorrow we've been talking about. So it's in your hands. But you need to also know something, that if you take whatever you think you can take now, to vote the wrong person into power, what you are facing now will be a child's play of what is to come. Because if you do your sensitivity analysis on where we are from 2015 till now, you would know that we are not supposed to even be called giant of Africa. Now we become mosquitoes of Africa, if you allow me to use that. So understand that it is in your hands now to decide who your leaders would be, beginning from your president. And of course, you know the power of the president. Somebody was talking about structure. You are the structure. You are the structure. You are the structure of prosperity. You are the structure of quality education. You are the structure for peace. You are the structure for everything good that any nation blessed like Nigeria should be. So it's in your hand. And for the government, I don't know what informs your decision to creating agencies, especially like the National Orientation Agency. We should have programs from January to December, especially preparatory program, into an electioneering period like this, where people should understand certain things about the country and the developmental agenda for where the country should be and all of that, and use this, to furnish, to give orientation, to orientate young people, to make, we're not saying influence them, we're not saying gather them and give them money and tell them this is what, but tell them that make your decision objectively. If you are patriotic, if you are not a traitor, if you have not been given to what we call perfidy, if you are not giving to deception, even in what you do for yourself, now is time to show patriotism, especially when we're transitioning into another political dispensation. Exercise your franchise, just like they've been doing about the PVC. Go and get your PVC. This program should be done side by side, with encouraging people. Imagine, you are now forcing people to go and get their PVC. It's a mindset thing. It's a behavioral thing. Do you understand what I'm saying? So those programs, cognitive behavioral therapy should be done, should be practiced. And of course, it is the National Orientation Agency that should lead the charge for a time like this.
All right. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to, join us on this conversation. Thank you so much. We really appreciate your time.
My pleasure, as always.
So that was Otu Don Daniels. He's a media content executive. Thank you so much for coming to Daybreak Extra once again.
Thank you so much.
Oh, all right. So we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll move on to our second discussion. It's still Daybreak Extra on Trust TV.
Night.